Hi, welcome to the lesson about Windows. So Windows are yet another implementation of stateful processing in data processing world. And although there are multiple Windows, I think that the most common ones you can encounter and use in your daily life are these three ones, namely the session window, sliding window, and tumbling window. So I will start with the session window. Session window that I will illustrate by processing some sessions topic. And here I'm starting by, of course, creating a structure, defining some watermark, and grouping column. And in the grouping column, I'm defining a second column that will create the window for each visit ID. And the window will be closed when there is no more activities after 10 minutes. So it's so-called gap duration. And yeah, I'm also adding some current time to get a better idea on what happens and when the data is, when the session window expires. And I will start now the Docker Composer, and I will also recreate the topic and start a console producer, because it's easier to demonstrate that way. So I will start now the session window, or maybe I will start by adding the first visit, just following my instructions. The first visit, okay, and start the session window. Remember, we have the gap duration of 10 seconds and the watermark of 12. So logically, for this first window, it should remain open and we shouldn't see any results emitted yet. Yes, that's the case. So now I'm adding another 42, which is still within the gap duration. So again, we shouldn't see anything. And now I will send another event. So let's do it. And as you can see, there is still nothing, simply because the watermark doesn't advance enough to close the session window, even though the gap duration should close it. So let me now add another event that will move the watermark even forward, and we will see the windows emitted to our sync. Yes, you can see that we have a correct count and the two windows just emitted with 10 seconds for the first and much more duration for the second one. So that was for this, and I will maybe just emit the final session. Remember, I have to advance the watermark enough so that I can emit everything that is accumulated so far, even for the closed sessions. And as you can see, I'm getting here the current results, and that's for the session window. So let me just start containers. And what about tumbling windows? Tumbling windows are, remember, not overlapping windows. So the window duration is the same as the sliding duration, meaning that here we are going to create a new window every 6 seconds, and we should see, so what is the number of rows? We have 10 number of rows each time, so 5 rows for each label, for each flag, and we should see something like 10 values in the final window, because this here window is updated in every micro batch. So here every window updated in the given micro batch will be printed in our screen, will be sent to the sync. And since our gap duration, since our window duration is twice long as the watermark, typically each window will integrate 20 rows, 10 rows per flag. Let me just show you that it will be much more simpler and clearer. So the job is starting. We have our first window, and in the next window we got the 5 remaining records. Now we are opening another window, and we integrate another record, and so far and so on. So that's relatively easy. The windows are completely separated, even though we have this incremental update in the print. And what about sliding window? So sliding window uses the same API, but it needs one extra parameter. With a tumbling window, the slide duration was the same as the window duration because we don't want any overlapping. Here we want the windows to overlap. So as a result, we need to create the window within the window duration. So here we have the window duration of 6 seconds, and we need to create it earlier than 6 seconds. For me, it will be 3 because it will divide quite well the display, and it should be easy to follow. So let me start this, and here similarly we should see some sliding duration for 5 and 10 records in each window, but unlike the previous example, in each update we will see two different windows. So as you can see here, we have the window for 06 here, and for 06 here, 09, and 09 is the next micro batch, 12, 12, 15, and so far and so on. So these are the three very popular windows in data processing. I think that if you master and know the differences between them, you should be able to manipulate windows quite easily, and they shouldn't be a big challenge for you. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next lesson.